The office Christmas party was in full swing when Emma Reeves, the ambitious new CEO of Horizon Tech, cornered me against the wall. Her breath reeked of expensive whiskey as she leaned in, her lips inches from mine. My heart hammered against my ribs, not from desire, but from panic. I placed my hands firmly on her shoulders and gently pushed her back. "Emma, you're drunk," I said quietly. "If you were sober, I'd make the first move." The word surprised even me as they left my mouth. Her eyes widened before she stumbled away, leaving me alone with my racing thoughts and the weight of what I just admitted. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Marcus Chen, and I share stories about navigating life as a single dad while building my career. Today's story is one I've never shared publicly, about the night my boss tried to kiss me and how it changed everything. If this resonates with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to join our community of people trying to balance work, family, and finding love in this complicated world that I never planned to be a single father at 32. My daughter Lily came into my life when my college girlfriend and I had an unexpected pregnancy. We tried to make it work, but 2 years after Lily was born, Sophia realized parenthood wasn't for her. She moved across the country to pursue her dream job, leaving me with full custody of our daughter. I don't blame her, we were young, and some people aren't meant to be parents. But it meant I had to figure out how to raise a little girl on my own while somehow keeping my career afloat. By the time Lily turned 5, I had worked my way up to senior marketing director at Horizon Tech, a mid-sized software company in Seattle. The hours were reasonable, the pay was good, and most importantly, they understood when I occasionally needed to leave early for school pickups or stay home with a sick child. It wasn't perfect, but we had a routine that worked. Lily was thriving in kindergarten, I was excelling at work, and we had built a small but supportive community around us. Then everything changed when our longtime CEO retired, and the board brought in Emma Reeves to replace him. Emma was everything I wasn't: confident, polished, and ruthlessly ambitious. At 38, she had already turned around 2 failing tech companies and had a reputation for demanding excellence. She was also undeniably attractive, with sharp green eyes that seemed to see right through you and a presence that commanded attention the moment she walked into a room. Our first meeting was brief but memorable. She called each department head in for individual meetings during her first week. When my turn came, I walked into her office with my quarterly marketing report and a list of ongoing campaigns. "Marcus Chen," she said, looking up from my file. "Senior Marketing Director, with us for 7 years. Impressive retention in an industry known for job hopping." "I value stability," I replied, settling into the chair across from her desk. "And you're a single parent?" she asked, her eyes flicking to the framed photo of Lily I'd included in my personnel file. That I nodded. "My daughter is 5. Horizon's flexible work policies have been essential for us." Something flickered across her face. Interest, perhaps, or calculation. "I respect parents who manage to balance career and family. It takes discipline." She closed my file. "Your department's numbers are solid, but I think we can push further. I want to see more aggressive growth in the next quarter." That set the tone for our professional relationship. Emma pushed everyone harder, including me, but she also seemed to take a particular interest in my work. She would stop by my office to discuss campaign ideas or email me late at night with thoughts on our marketing strategy. I appreciated her insights, even if her intensity sometimes felt overwhelming. The other department heads noticed her attention. "Teacher's pet," joked Raj, our head of engineering, after Emma praised my presentation in a leadership meeting. "She just likes my ideas," I said, brushing it off. But privately, I wondered if there was more to it. Sometimes I'd catch her watching me during meetings, or she'd find reasons to extend our one-on-one sessions. I told myself I was imagining things. Emma was my boss, and I had neither the time nor the emotional bandwidth for workplace complications. Besides, my life outside of work was consumed by Lily. My daughter was going through a phase of nightmares that left her crawling into my bed most nights, and her kindergarten teacher had suggested she might need speech therapy for a slight stutter that emerged when she was nervous. Between work and parenting, romance wasn't even on my radar. Until the Christmas party. Horizon always went all out for their holiday celebration, renting the top floor of a downtown hotel with views of the Space Needle and Elliott Bay. I usually skipped these events or made brief appearances, but this year, Emma had made it clear that all leadership was expected to attend. I'd arranged for Mrs. Patel, our elderly neighbor who adored Lily, to babysit for the evening. "You look handsome, Daddy," Lily said as I adjusted my tie before leaving. "Like a prince." I smiled and kissed the top of her head. "And you're my princess. Be good for Mrs. Patel, okay? I won't be too late." The party was in full swing when I arrived. The space had been transformed with twinkling lights and elegant decorations, and a jazz quartet played softly in one corner. I grabbed a club soda from the bar and made my rounds, chatting with colleagues and trying to appear more comfortable than I felt at these functions. I was talking to Diane from HR when I felt a hand on my arm. Emma stood beside me in a fitted emerald dress that matched her eyes, holding a glass of whiskey. "Marcus, I've been looking for you," she said, her words slightly slurred. "I need to steal you for a minute to discuss the Johnson account." Diane raised an eyebrow but discreetly moved away. Emma led me toward a quieter corner of the room, her hand still on my arm. "The Johnson account is doing fine," I said, confused. "We just renewed their contract last week." Emma waved dismissively. "That's not really why I wanted to talk to you." She took another sip of her drink. "You know, you're different from the others here." "Different how?" I asked, suddenly aware of how close she was standing. "You're not trying to impress me all the time. You just do good work and go home to your daughter. It's refreshing." She leaned closer. "And you're the only one who challenges my ideas instead of just nodding along." I shifted uncomfortably. "That's just part of the job. Good marketing requires different perspectives." "See? That's what I mean." She moved even closer, backing me against the wall. "You're smart, Marcus. And humble. And very attractive." My pulse quickened as I realized where this was heading. Emma was brilliant and beautiful, and under different circumstances, I might have been flattered by her attention. But she was clearly drunk, and she was my boss. Nothing good could come from this moment. "Emma," I said gently, "I think you've had a lot to drink." "So?" she murmured, leaning in until I could smell the whiskey on her breath. "Don't tell me you haven't thought about this too." And then she was moving to kiss me, her eyes closing as she swayed slightly. I placed my hands on her shoulders and held her back. "Emma, you're drunk," I repeated firmly. "If you were sober, I'd make the first move." The word surprised me as much as they seemed to surprise her. Her eyes widened, and for a moment, the fog of alcohol seemed to clear from her gaze. "What did you say?" she whispered. I said, "If you were sober, if this wasn't a work function, if you weren't my boss, then yes, I'd be interested." I kept my voice low, aware of colleagues mingling nearby. "But not like this." She stared at me for a long moment, then stepped back. Without another word, she turned and walked away, disappearing into the crowd. I stood there, my heart pounding, wondering if I'd just ruined my career. I left the party shortly after, calling a rideshare and texting Mrs. Patel that I was on my way home. As the city lights blurred past the car window, I replayed the encounter in my mind. Had I handled it right? What would happen on Monday? And had I meant what I said about making the first move? The weekend passed in a blur of playdates and household chores. Lily and I baked Christmas cookies, put up our small tree, and watched animated holiday movies. I tried to stay present with her, but my mind kept drifting to Emma and what awaited me at work. Monday morning arrived with a knot in my stomach. I dropped Lily at school and drove to the office, preparing myself for awkwardness or worse. But when I arrived, Emma's assistant informed me that she was out of the office for the day. The reprieve was both a relief and a prolongation of my anxiety. Tuesday brought a company-wide email from Emma about year-end goals, but no personal communication. By Wednesday, I began to hope that perhaps she didn't remember our interaction, or was choosing to pretend it never happened. Then on Thursday afternoon, as I was preparing to leave early for Lily's winter concert at school, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Can we talk? Coffee at Elmwood Cafe, 7 p.m. tonight? Emma." I stared at the message, my pulse quickening. How had she gotten my personal number? And what did she want to discuss? I thought about ignoring it, but knew that would only delay the inevitable. "I need to arrange childcare. Can we make it 8 p.m.? I replied. 3 dots appeared immediately. 8 p.m. works. Thank you. I called Mrs. Patel, who agreed to stay with Lily after I put her to bed. Then I focused on being present for my daughter's concert, where she sang Jingle Bells with her kindergarten class, her face serious with concentration as she carefully pronounced each word without stuttering. At 7:55, I pushed open the door to Elmwood Cafe, a small, quiet establishment several blocks from the office. Emma sat at a corner table, wearing jeans and a sweater instead of her usual business attire. Without her usual makeup and power suit, she looked younger, more vulnerable. "Thank you for coming," she said as I sat down across from her. 2 mugs of coffee already waited on the table. "I ordered for you. Black with 1 sugar, right?" I nodded, surprised she knew my coffee preference. "How did you get my personal number?" "From your emergency contact form," she admitted. "I shouldn't have, but I didn't want to have this conversation over company email or in the office." I took a sip of coffee, waiting for her to continue. "I owe you an apology," she said finally, meeting my eyes. "My behavior at the Christmas party was completely inappropriate. I had too much to drink, and I put you in an impossible position." "It's okay," I started, but she shook her head. "No, it's not. I'm your boss. What I did could be considered sexual harassment, and that's inexcusable, regardless of my state of mind." She wrapped her hands around her mug. "I've been avoiding you because I was embarrassed and ashamed, but that wasn't fair to you either." I was struck by her directness. "I appreciate the apology. And for what it's worth, I didn't report it to HR or anything. You would have been within your rights to do so." She took a deep breath. "There's something else I wanted to discuss. What you said that night." My face warmed at the memory. "About making the first move?" She nodded. "Did you mean it, or were you just trying to let me down gently?" The question hung between us. I considered deflecting, but something about her vulnerability made me want to be honest. "I meant it," I admitted. "But it doesn't change the complications. You're still my boss." "What if I wasn't?" she asked quietly. I frowned. "What do you mean?" "I've been offered a position on the board of Horizon's parent company," she explained. "It would mean stepping down as CEO and moving to a governance role. I've been considering it for a while, but I've been hesitant to leave the hands-on leadership position." "That would be a big change," I said carefully. "Is that something you want?" "I've built my identity around being the person who fixes broken companies, who drives growth and innovation," she said thoughtfully. "But lately I've been wondering if there's more to life than just work." She met my eyes. "Watching you balance your career with raising your daughter, it's made me think about my own priorities." I was stunned by her candor. "Emma, you shouldn't make career decisions based on whatever this is between us." "I'm not," she assured me. "The board position is a natural progression, and it's been on the table for months. But meeting you, seeing how you've created a life that includes both professional success and personal fulfillment, it's helped clarify what I want for my future." She paused. "And yes, I'm attracted to you. But even if nothing happens between us, I think this move is right for me." We talked for nearly 2 hours, the conversation flowing easily once the initial tension had dissipated. I told her about Lily's mother leaving, about the challenges and joys of single parenthood. She shared stories of growing up with ambitious parents who pushed her to excel but never showed affection, about throwing herself into her career to prove her worth. "I should get home," I said eventually, noticing the time. "Mrs. Patel is watching Lily." Emma nodded. "Of course." As we stood to leave, she added, "I'm submitting my formal acceptance of the board position tomorrow. The transition will take about a month." "And then?" I asked. She smiled, a genuine smile that reached her eyes. "And then, if you're still interested, maybe you can make good on what you said at the party." The next month was busy for everyone at Horizon. Emma announced her promotion to the board and the search for her replacement began. She maintained a professional distance from me at work, though occasionally I'd catch her watching me during meetings, a small smile playing at her lips. At home, Lily continued with her speech therapy, making steady progress. One night as I tucked her in, she asked a question that caught me off guard. "Daddy, do you ever get lonely?" I sat on the edge of her bed. "What makes you ask that, sweetheart?" She shrugged, hugging her stuffed elephant. "Mrs. Patel said it's sad that you don't have anyone special except me. She said you should find a nice lady to love." I chuckled. "Mrs. Patel should mind her own business." Then, more seriously, "I have you, and that's enough to make me very happy. But yes, sometimes adults do get lonely for other adult company." "Like a girlfriend?" she asked innocently. "Maybe someday," I said, kissing her forehead. "But any lady in our lives would have to be pretty amazing to deserve you as a bonus daughter." The day of Emma's farewell party arrived. The company had arranged a reception in the main conference room, with speeches and a gift presentation. I kept to the periphery, offering a polite congratulations when appropriate but otherwise maintaining distance. As the event wound down, Emma found me by the windows overlooking the city. "So, today's my last day as your boss," she said, her voice professional but her eyes warm. "Congratulations on the board position," I replied. "Horizon will miss your leadership. I'll still be around, just in a different capacity." She glanced around to ensure no one was within earshot. "I was wondering if you might be free for dinner tomorrow night? I know it's a weekend, so you probably have plans with Lily." "Actually," I said, "Lily is having a sleepover at her friend Zoe's house tomorrow. Their first one. She's very excited." Emma's eyes brightened. "So you're free?" "I am," I confirmed. "Did you have somewhere in mind?" "My place," she suggested. "I make a decent pasta carbonara. Unless that feels too forward?" I thought about the past month, about our coffee shop conversation, about the connection that had been building between us despite our efforts to keep things professional. "Carbonara sounds perfect," I said. "Text me your address." The next evening, I found myself standing outside Emma's downtown condo, a bottle of wine in hand and my heart beating rapidly. This was uncharted territory for me. I hadn't been on a proper date since before Lily was born. Emma opened the door wearing jeans and a simple blouse, her hair loose around her shoulders. Her apartment was modern but comfortable, with floor-to-ceiling windows offering a spectacular view of the city. "Welcome," she said, taking the wine. "Dinner's almost ready." We fell into easy conversation as she finished preparing the meal. I helped set the table, and we talked about everything except work, books we'd read recently, places we wanted to travel, childhood memories. The carbonara was delicious, and the wine loosened the last of our reservations. After dinner, we moved to her couch with glasses of wine. The city lights twinkled below us, and soft music played. After dinner, we moved to her couch with glasses of wine. The city lights twinkled below us, and soft music played in the background. There was a moment of comfortable silence between us, the kind that doesn't need to be filled. "I've been thinking about what you said at the Christmas party," Emma said finally, setting her wine glass down. About making the first move. My heart skipped a beat. I remember. Well, she said, turning to face me fully, I'm completely sober now. And I'm no longer your boss. I set my glass down too, suddenly aware of how close we were sitting. That's true on both counts. So? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Did you mean it? Instead of answering with words, I leaned forward and gently cupped her face in my hands. Her eyes fluttered closed as our lips met in a kiss that felt like both a beginning and an inevitability. Her hand found mine, our fingers intertwining as the kiss deepened. When we finally pulled apart, Emma was smiling. Worth the wait, she murmured. Definitely, I agreed, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. We spent the rest of the evening talking and kissing, learning the contours of this new relationship. It was past midnight when I reluctantly said I needed to go home before Lily was dropped off from her sleepover in the morning. I'd like to meet her someday, Emma said as she walked me to the door. When you think it's appropriate, of course. The sincerity in her voice touched me. I'd like that too. But let's take it slow. She's the most important person in my life. I wouldn't expect anything less, she replied, kissing me goodbye. Over the next few months, Emma and I built our relationship carefully. We had dinner at my place after Lily was asleep, went for lunch on weekends when Lily had activities, and talked on the phone late into the night. Emma was patient, never pushing to be introduced to my daughter until I was ready. 3 months after our first date, I finally felt it was time. I had talked to Lily about Emma, explaining that Daddy had a special friend he wanted her to meet. Is she your girlfriend? Lily asked with the directness only children possess. Yes, I admitted. Would that be okay with you? Lily considered this seriously. Does she like princesses? I laughed. I don't know, but we can ask her. We arranged to meet at a children's museum on a Saturday morning. I was nervous as we waited by the entrance, holding Lily's hand. Is that her? Lily asked as Emma approached, wearing jeans and a casual sweater, her hair in a simple ponytail. That's her, I confirmed. Emma knelt down to Lily's level when she reached us. You must be Lily. Your dad has told me so much about you. I love your unicorn shirt. Lily studied her carefully. Do you like princesses? Emma didn't miss a beat. I do. But I think dragons are pretty cool too. Lily's face lit up. Me too. Daddy says I can like both princesses and dragons. Your daddy is very smart, Emma said, glancing up at me with a smile. The day was a success. Emma was natural with Lily, neither trying too hard nor being distant. By the end of our museum visit, Lily was holding both our hands as we walked to get ice cream. Can Emma come over for movie night sometime? Lily asked as we drove home. I caught Emma's eye in the rearview mirror. I think that would be nice. If Emma wants to. I'd love to, Emma said, her voice warm. Over the next year, our lives gradually intertwined. Emma became a regular presence at our home, joining us for movie nights and Sunday pancakes. She helped Lily with her reading and cheered at her first-grade play. I found myself falling in love not just with Emma, but with the way she fit into our family without trying to replace what was already there. On Christmas Eve, exactly 1 year after the office party where everything began, I proposed to Emma in our living room while Lily helped by holding the ring box. Emma's tears of joy matched my own as she said yes, and Lily danced around us chanting, "We're going to be a family." 2 years later, as I stand at the back of a small garden filled with our closest friends and family, watching Emma walk down the aisle toward me with Lily proudly serving as our flower girl, I think about how one moment of honesty changed everything. If you were sober, I'd make the first move, I had said, never imagining where those words would lead. Sometimes the most important boundaries we set are the ones that eventually allow us to build something beautiful together. And sometimes, the family you create is even more precious than the one you were born into. So if you're watching this and wondering if it's possible to find love while juggling single parenthood and career, or if it's worth taking a risk on someone when the timing seems all wrong, my story is proof that it is. The right person will respect your boundaries, love your children, and wait until the moment is right. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe for more real-life experiences about finding balance, love, and family in unexpected places. Until next time.